Well, folks, let's talk carbohydrates and proteins and what's going on in your body and fats. You see, when you eat carbohydrates, and it doesn't matter what kind of carbohydrate it is, whether it's a sugar, a starch, a fructose, a glucose, a high fructose corn syrup, agave syrup, which some people think is better, but it's worse because it's way higher in fructose, which is really bad for you. It's worse than glucose, or even whole grains, or legumes, or fiber. Your body turns it all into sugars, blood sugar. When you have blood sugar, your body doesn't like that. In fact, your body is capable of producing all the sugar you need when you need it through a process called gluconeogenesis, which we'll get into in a bit. So when you eat this sugar, your body doesn't want your sugar to be above a certain level. So what it does is your alpha cell or your beta cells in your pancreas produce insulin. Now the insulin does two things. Your body loves to burn ketones, which it gets from fat. It's very efficient. And so when ketones are available, your body will burn ketones, not sugars. So the first thing your insulin does is it shuts down the production of the ketones so that your body is forced now to switch to a lesser fuel, sugars. And then the insulin then hits insulin receptors on your cells and forces that sugar into your muscles to be burned, which isn't a bad thing. Give you a bit of energy, whatever. But then it also forces those sugars into your liver to increase your liver glycogen levels, which isn't bad. But that happens pretty quickly. That tank fills up fast. So then your body starts looking for other places to store this sugar to get it out of your blood because it's killing you. It's poisonous to you. Even oxygen at higher levels is poisonous. Oxygen toxicity. Everything too much is poisonous, right? So then your body tries to get rid of this sugar. So it stores it in your pancreas. You get fatty pancreas. It stores it in your liver. You get fatty liver. Fatty pancreas is what leads to insulin sensitivity and type 2 diabetes because it kind of chokes out the usefulness of your pancreas and your beta cells. And then when it can't find any place, it starts storing it in your body fat. Insulin is the body fat hormone. That's what it does. It's designed to strip the sugars out of your blood so that your blood sugar doesn't get too high. Because when your blood sugar is too high, then you start glycating things. Sugar likes to stick to the proteins on the end of things like your nerves, and your immune system sees that, recognizes that being not what it should be, and attacks it. And that's when you get autoimmune diseases like arthritis and peripheral neuropathy that you see with diabetics. Now, that's bad. And anytime you eat carbs, this is happening. It also reduces the production of a chemical called glucagon. And it reduces the glucagon because glucagon is the signaling agent to your liver and your kidneys actually to produce glucose. So now, when you're a carb addict, you got too much sugar in your body, insulin is driving it, you become insulin insensitive because there's too much insulin. So your insulin levels go up even before your blood sugar does. So if you're only checking for an A1C at the doctor, if that's all he's looking for, an HbA1c, he's 10 years behind. By the time your HbA1c goes up, your insulin levels have been spiking for a very long time. He should be checking your C-peptide and your fasting insulin. If he's not, find a new doctor or follow the other advice for diet, where then it won't matter anymore unless you have something bizarre going on. So now what you need to do is you look at carnivore, getting rid of the carbohydrates. Now when you first go on a ketovore, carnivore, or you want to call it diet, proper human diet, traditional diet for human beings for as long as we've been on the face of the earth, what you'll find is you get this thing that they love to call the keto flu. What's really happening is when you stop eating the carbohydrates, you stop ramming sugar into your blood. But there's a cycle called the Cori cycle, which operates on glucagon, which produces blood sugars in your liver. And because you have become insulin sensitive, possibly have prediabetes or diabetes. You can have it without knowing. I did. I didn't know I was diabetic until they accidentally checked it one day. Your insulin will be too high. And when your insulin's too high, even though your sugar might be low, this is where it's interesting, you won't produce ketones because it's blocking the ketones because it's trying to force you to eat sugar. But then you don't have sugars either because it's blocking glucagon. And you're not eating any sugar. So your blood sugars are going to be low and pretty much unusable for the most part. You're not going to be producing enough ketones to keep your body going. You'll have no energy and you'll feel like garbage. This is no different than when a heroin addict stops taking heroin. Because heroin replaces natural endorphins the brain makes. So when you take heroin, you stop producing those endorphins. When you go off to heroin, suddenly the endorphins aren't there. And your brain has to learn to re-regulate the production of those endorphins. And it takes a while. And that period is called withdrawals. Or as we used to call it in BC, the Hastings Shuffle. You see the junkies downtown. And they're doing this weird dance because they're feeling really bad because they don't have the chemicals their body needs. And their body can't produce them. And that's withdrawals. So this keto flu that you think you're having is carbohydrate addiction withdrawal as your body tries to re-regulate. Now, as you are a carnivore and you're not taking the sugars in and your sugars are low, what's going to happen is slowly your production of insulin is going to reduce. Your insulin sensitivity is going to reduce and you'll need less insulin. As the insulin reduces, two wonderful things happen. One, your body starts releasing more fat and producing more ketones. Now you start getting energy, the energy you need from your fat. Two, your glucagon levels produced by the alpha cells in your pancreas start to increase. And your glucagon then tells your liver and your kidneys as well in prolonged fasting to start producing the blood sugar your body needs to run itself. You do need some blood sugar, absolutely. Same as you need cholesterol. You don't get cholesterol by eating it. Your body produces it. And your body produces sugars. The amount it needs, when it needs it, as long as you're not introducing exogenous sugar into your blood. And your body can work. Now, as your sugars normalize, your insulin normalizes, your glucagon normalizes, your ketones normalize, your body will start burning fat. And you won't do it by being hungry. You don't need to do a caloric deficit. Calories mean nothing anyway. It's calories, how much energy you would get from a thing when you burn it. Well, you're not burning things. It's all chemicals, chemical reactions, not pure oxidation. You're not turning your food into carbon. You're not pooping out coal. If you start pooping out coal, then calories start mattering. Until then, they don't. It's the biochemical reactions going on in your body. Do you have insulin? Do you have blood sugar? Do you have ketones? Those are what matter. So as your body starts to re-regulate your production of glucagon and glucose through gluconeogenesis in your liver and starting through your kidneys, as your fatty liver and fatty pancreas fade away, and you will lose body fat and gain muscle mass. It's that simple. So if you cut out the carbs and you feel like crap, realize because you're a junkie, and you're a junkie because you've been lied to by big food and big pharma your whole life. They spend 5 times as much money lobbying governments as big oil. That should scare you to death. The big food sells you garbage and make you sick, and big food sells you drugs to mitigate symptoms. Get off your carbohydrate addiction. Get back to a proper human diet. Meat and meat products alone. And you will thank yourself for it. But it might take a few weeks to a few months before your body fixes the basic damage and reestablishes proper functions that have been damaged through your carbohydrate addiction. So, admit you're a sugar junkie and get off the sugars.